The next generation of fire with the Camp Stove 2. A portable wood-burning stove that creates smokeless flames while generating usable electricity so you can cook your meals and charge your devices all at the same time. Now with updated Thermoelectrics, the Camp Stove 2 provides 50% more power than the Camp Stove 1 and incorporates an onboard battery so you can store your electricity for whenever you need it. The updated LED interface provides real-time feedback on what's going on inside and features 4 fan speeds to control the size of your fire. Integrate with BioLite accessories for a perfect camp kitchen that you can bring anywhere. And anytime you go off-grid with BioLite, you're helping us bring safe, reliable energy to households around the world. Clean energy is all around us. We just need the right tools to unlock it. Discover a smarter, cleaner campfire with the Camp Stove 2.
Congratulations on your new BioLite camp stove. The camp stove comes in 2 parts, the stainless steel fuel chamber and the orange power module. We've also included fire lighters and a double-ended USB cable. Like a car, the camp stove has a rechargeable battery to help with easy startup. Before your first use, we recommend that you condition the battery by plugging the power module into an external USB port. Just use the cable in your box. The light around the USB port will flash orange while charging. The light will become solid orange when the battery is ready for your first use. If you use the camp stove every 6 months, you won't ever need to repeat this step. The 2 parts of the camp stove pack together for compact storage. To put it together, just slide the power module into the stove body. Fully extend the folding legs to lock the power module in place. Put the stove flat on a level surface away from any overhanging branches and clear away dry brush on the ground around the stove. Have water nearby in case of an accident. Just like with any fire product, it's important to be safe and follow all local fuel and fire regulations. You'll want to gather small, dry fuel for the fire. If it's recently been raining outside, you may want to bring a little dry wood with you to help start the fire. Here's an example of wood that's good for burning. It snaps cleanly because it's well aged and it's very dry. Twigs that bend without breaking won't burn as well. We don't recommend using leaves because they tend to smoke. Fill the stove chamber loosely without blocking the jets on the side of the chamber. We recommend using a fire lighter to get the fire started, and we've included some in your box. Just light one end, let the flame get started, and then place it carefully in the fuel chamber. If you don't have fire lighter, you can also add small kindling or some paper to the top of the stove and light that with a match. Wait about 10 seconds and then push the power button to start the fan on low. This creates the flow of oxygen to the fire to help start it quickly. As the fire builds, you can push the power button again to set it to high. You can start adding larger fuel at this point. Oak, maple, and other hardwood twigs are good to use because they're long burning. If it's windy, make sure the power module is not downwind. To cook, just place your pot directly on the pot stand. Line up the handle with one of the legs below. This keeps your pot handle out of the path of flames. With a strong fire, you can boil a liter of water in less than 5 minutes. As more fuel is needed, carefully lift the pot to add more wood. As the fire burns, you can push the power button to toggle between low and high. Use low to start the fire or when you want a less intense flame. To simmer, let the fire burn down and set the fan to low. You can start charging your devices when the light bar around the USB port changes from orange to green. Generally, this happens within about 10 minutes of starting your fire. Attach a USB cable to the port. Be careful not to touch any metal surfaces which can be very hot. The camp stove can charge most USB-chargeable devices. Some devices will charge continuously. Certain devices, such as smartphones, charge in regular intervals of boosted output. When you're done charging, remove the USB cord carefully. Pulling too sharply can knock over your stove. When you're done using the camp stove, just let the fire burn down to cold ash or bury live embers and extinguish with water. Never pour water into the stove because it could damage the stove's components. The power module will turn off automatically as the stove cools. To manually power off, hold the power button for 3 seconds. If the power module isn't cool enough yet and you attempt a manual shutdown, the fan may turn itself back on to protect the power module from the heat of the fire. Wait at least 5 minutes to see if the stove chamber is cool enough. Once it's completely cool, you can store the power module inside. Fold the legs down, Remove the power module and slide it into the stove chamber. Remember, it's important that the stove chamber is cool in order to protect the power module. Just slip your stove into your stuff sack and you're ready to go.
Your Camp Stove 2 comes in two parts, the orange power module and the stainless steel burn chamber. If you want to get a head start on your power supply, you can pre-charge your power module at home via the micro USB located underneath. To assemble the Camp Stove 2, insert the power module's probe into the burn chamber and lock it into place by extending the legs below. Set it on stable ground, clear of any branches, and remove any debris or brush from the surrounding area. Now's a good time to get to know the LED dashboard. The orange lights on the left represent the strength of your fire, an indicator of how much heat you're producing. Relatedly, the green lights on the right side show how much power is available to you for charging devices, which will be impacted by the power you generate from your fire. Lastly, the middle blue lights represent 4 fan speeds available to you to control the airflow and intensity of your flames. Good fire starting starts with good fuel. We recommend using harder woods like oak or maple, which burn longer than fir or pine. You can also use BioLite food-safe pellets, which can burn for extended periods of time without any need to refuel. Quick heads up, do not use charcoal, and do not use liquid fuels in your Camp Stove 2. Also, avoid using damp or green wood, as it'll cause a lot of smoking. If it bends instead of snaps, that's a sign you shouldn't use it. Loosely pack the burn chamber with fuel. 2 important things here. 1. Don't overstuff the chamber. This will prevent airflow for proper combustion. 2. Don't extend your fuel beyond the last row of air jets. This can present a burn hazard and obstruct your ability to place cooking accessories on top of the camp stove. Break off a small piece of fire starter included with your stove and light with a match or lighter and place inside the burn chamber. If you're in windy conditions, we recommend using a barbecue lighter and lighting directly inside the stove. And if you're using pellets, fill up the chamber about 3/4 of the way, leaving the last ring of air jets exposed. Once hot enough, the Camp Stove 2's fan system will automatically kick in and start providing air to your fire. If you want to expedite the process, you can press the power button twice to the lowest fan setting. But be careful, this may snuff out a weak flame. As your fire builds, start to add pieces of fuel that are larger in diameter. This will reduce the amount of times you need to refuel, and it'll build a hot, sustained fire. Twigs and brush are great for fire starting, but avoid using them as the main fuel source for your fire. They'll burn quickly, and they won't produce a hot flame. The Camp Stove 2 is a fully functioning cook stove, accommodating a range of camping cookware, including the BioLite portable grill, kettle pot, and coffee press. Whenever using cookware with a handle, make sure it is aligned with the power module so flames are diverted away. And if you're using the portable grill, make sure it's facing away from the power module. A couple other tips on the portable grill. The grill's fuel hatch allows access to the flame, but don't overstuff with fuel. Stay at the jets. This shouldn't change the way that you load the stove. To avoid overheating the camp stove, keep your fan on the first 2 settings. And lastly, you will have a big flame, but flames should not be shooting out of the grill. You run the risk of overheating your unit. If your fire is getting too hot for your cooking needs, you can do 2 things. 1, stop refueling and let the fire die down a bit. Or 2, lower your fan speed to reduce airflow and produce a smaller fire. If you're looking to boil, set your fan to the highest setting. But if you're looking to simmer or just enjoy your campfire, use the lowest 2 settings. Be sure to check out the BioLite blog for an awesome array of recipes you can make with your Camp Stove 2 system. Pro tip, if you're using the portable grill, toss in some barbecue wood chips for extra flavor. The Camp Stove 2 uses a thermoelectric generator to capture heat from its fire and produce 3 watts of electricity that you can use to charge phones, cameras, and other gear around your campsite. It also features an onboard 2600 mAh battery that can store energy so you can charge even when the fire isn't burning. And as a quick reminder, you can pre-charge that internal battery at home via micro USB. To see how much power you've got available, press the button on the power module once. The green lights will illuminate to show how full the internal battery is and will activate charge out. A full battery will provide a full phone charge and will charge as fast as a typical USB power bank. As you deplete your battery, the green lights will decrease. They'll light back up as you produce electricity from the heat of your fire. To charge devices, simply plug into the USB port located directly below the LED dashboard. Do not use the micro USB port. That's for charge-in only. Your kit also includes a USB flex light that you can use to light your surroundings at night. Just plug it into the USB port and tap on or off with your finger, or press an